Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brian from Whisper Status 74, and you were looking at an LG OLED. This is a 65-inch B6. This is at my parents' house in Lake Havasu, Arizona. And I wanted to do a follow-up video on this display to see how it's done after almost 2 years of purchase, or I'd say about a year and a half. It is a B6, and they have used it regular use. I wanted to see if there was any burn-in and how the TV has performed under regular use, under people that have watched news and regular viewing. No, it's not gaming, so I can't report on that. But these tiles that we see here, they do watch a lot of YouTube, Hulu, things like that. So the question is going to be, how is it when I run it through some burn-in tests? Now, I've been watching the display the entire week and have really enjoyed it in terms of its performance. If there is any burn-in, I haven't noticed it during any normal content or regular content. So it will be interesting to see what it does in terms of its performance in regards to burn-in. Being up close to it, I don't see any issues with it, but we'll see when we go through the different slides that come with burn-in tests. So I will say though, using the display all day, or I should say during the week, in a bright room, in a dark room, in a large room, there isn't one time where I really felt like the display was too dim. So that's me being a plasma owner, but having a display, which is a Sony 900E, which is pretty bright, and seeing displays like the Z9D, I never felt that the performance of this display was not bright enough, or that I coveted a brighter picture. I watched plenty of Dolby Vision, HDR10, 4K. I did really enjoy its ability to upscale. I watched Silence of the Lambs, Seven, some other non-4K films. It performed very, very well. So very happy with how it looks. If there is burn-in, I have not been able to see it on regular content. So we'll run it on YouTube and check out some of the slides for burn-in and to see what it did. All right, guys, hold on. Now, what is interesting, guys, is I run through this test, you'll see some pretty serious image here, which scared the hell out of me. What that is actually is image retention. That actually goes away. So as we go through the video, you'll actually see that disappear. Now, I thought at first that that was burn-in and I was only seeing it on certain shades, but as it goes back to that shade, it's gone. So keep that in mind when you run some of these tests, with the difference between image retention and what burn-in is. You can see a little bit still here in the corner, but considering again regular usage, it's actually pretty clean. We're right up on it. But as you can see, this is the same color as when we started, and that square was gone, which was from YouTube. So we're looking at the different colors here. What's interesting is I filmed this, my phone has terrible burn-in, so as I record it. So I ran these slides on an iPad just to double check. Now, them using this display, again, regular usage, a lot of news, a lot of regular TV watching. I don't know how good they are with screensavers on their equipment, even though I've set them all up. So if we had image retention or burn-in, you would see them back on these. So the display is actually pretty clean. What I have noticed again with the OLED is they had pretty serious image retention. So when they went over to another segment of something, you would see a arrow here. Now, like most OLEDs, you will see some banding, some vertical banding that is there, but some lighter imperfections coming down the screen that my buddy had on his Sony AF8. But you don't see the squares that were here when the image first began. Now this is a lot of TV watching. They do watch a lot of TV at night. And like I said, I'm not sure how deliberate they are with being careful of burn-in. Now what's image retention versus burn-in? Image retention is when the image stays there for a little bit of time and then fades out. You can use pixel shift, things like that to help avoid it. But don't be alarmed if you have image retention. It does go away after a few minutes. So this is an OLED B6. LG. They're extremely happy with it. And what I do like about the OLEDs, again, versus some of the other displays, like my own LED, is that the picture seems to be very universal. You can use it for sports, movies, animation. It all looks pretty good, where I kind of change my settings with my content. If I have an older film, I change it so there's not a stronger grain structure. If it's animation, I make it more vibrant. OLED, a lot like plasma, is just very even and very consistent. Starting the same test again, where you saw the squares that were here in the very first slide. Same test, they're not there because that was image retention. Not burn-in. But when I first saw those squares, oh my God, I was like, oh my God, that's trashed. So be mindful though, within, a few minutes, you will see image retention. So be careful. Now this is a banding test. This is 5% grayscale. You can still see some of the image retention from before, but you can see some of the banding that you'll see down the screen on most LEDs. And this is where OLEDs do have a flaw. You will see this banding on certain grayscale, certain gray images. You can see on their display too, it's a little bit darker in the corners, which is no big deal. My Sony is very dark in the corners as well, but no crazy banding. But I will say on this side, there is a very dark, if you can see that, that is not image retention, that's just a darker side. And you can see just a little bit of some columns here. Now we're here with 20% grayscale to see what the banding is like here, and I'm pretty happy with it. I will say the image retention on their display is almost immediate. I have to wait for these to, for the image retention to dissipate before I can actually shoot the video. You can see some very faint lines, but very clean. Again, guys, this is my parents who are not that careful with it. So they don't game, but they watch an awful lot of TV. And I'm happy to report that with all these tests, other than the image retention, it is very clean, and I'm very happy with it. Now the B6 had some good pixel shifting. That's what's enabled with their display. If they have it, I think they enabled it, but they're not super careful. And lastly, we're going to do 10% grayscale. See how it looks, see if there's any banding here. See the black area doesn't seem as pronounced with this shade. No real noticeable banding. You can see the image retention here, and you may see some slight burn-in, but nothing that I can see. And most importantly, guys, nothing during regular content or movies. Now, I haven't played any games, but it looks pretty good. So in short, after a year and a half or so, I'm completely happy with the image quality. It looks amazing, and there is no discernible burn-in other than image retention. I'm very happy about that. Still looks amazing and still is pretty nice. All right, guys, thank you as always.